Hey everyone, welcome to Force Conversation, the show where two scruffy-looking nerf herders like to get together and talk about Star Wars. My name's Jay.
And I'm Colin.
Welcome to the show.
Yay!
So, how you doing, Colin? Another week?
I'm really... Yeah, it's a week after Rogue One. I'm having reflections on it. I mean, I know you've seen it probably every day since last week, but...
I've been sick, so I haven't been able to, so I've only seen it four times now.
Oh, is that all?
I know.
Annoying. How annoying.
Well,
I've managed to see it twice, but I must admit, has your feelings about it changed at all in the week?
No, they haven't. No. I still really like it, and I still get excited at all of the same bits.
Yeah. In
fact, the last time I watched it, I was paying a little bit more attention to the music because, you know, we talked about that a bit on our spoiler
the week bit,
chat. And I did notice a few more bits where they'd incorporated some of the old music, which worked quite well, but there maybe just wasn't enough of that. But I didn't mind the music so much this time around. I still didn't like the fake Star Wars fanfare, and I thought that was a bit crap. But overall, it kind of worked. It worked in the battle scenes for me. It's different. The guy only had apparently it was 4.5 weeks to work on it. Bear in mind, John Williams has already started episode 8. Yeah, so it's a very difficult thing to do because the music it's a hard thing. He has to watch the movie and get the feel of it. John Williams has the opportunity now, and I know he's John Williams, but Mike Giacchino's a good composer. But he has the opportunity, if something doesn't work, he can go back and go, you know what, let's change that bit of music. He was, to the line. He had no time. So for what he had, I think he did a good job. And I would be interested to see maybe if they let him do another one, but gave him the full time to do it, to see what he could do. Because I think that he could probably do something quite good.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. I still love it. And the one thing that I didn't notice, and it was just like a moment after it was supposed to have happened, was when you said about Zeb. And I was meant to look out for Zeb. so I'm like, I have to go and see it again.
That's a pity. That is a pity.
Yeah.
All right. Well, shall we start looking at some of the latest news of the week?
Let's check out some of the news. Why not?
Okay, so a lot of the news that have been obviously has been around the actual Rogue One, and obviously a lot of people have been talking about the various different Easter eggs and cameos that have been happening within the film.
Actually, before we go into this, maybe we should say we are going to talk spoilers because it's a bit difficult not to mention any spoilers, right?
Okay, some spoilers for Rogue One. If you haven't seen it yet, you're very naughty.
Just stop this video, go watch it, then come back and watch our video, right?
Yeah. Or go and watch it twice and then watch our video.
All that, Right, continue. Yeah. They've been warned.
All right. Okay, so warning for some spoilers. So there's been a couple of different Easter eggs, and there's a bit, and so we've been trying to look for some clarification. I know Pablo's gone on hiatus on Twitter and stopped answering questions and put "see you next year" on his Twitter handle, things like that. So, do you want to go through some of these points, Jay?
Yeah, we can go through them. I mean, obviously there's the Rebel, the Ghost ship from Rebels that makes a couple of appearances. So you see that about sort of 3 or 4 times. You see it at Yavin Base. It's up in the top left-hand corner, like an aerial shot. And these have been confirmed. These have been confirmed that it is the Ghost. You see it in the battle over Scarif, and you also see it. You're in Radis's ship, and it goes past the window, which I think is probably the best shot of it.
Exactly.
You've seen a couple of other places as well, but within that battle, you sort of see a glimpsing shot of it. You also see, is it General Sato?
Yeah.
You see his blockade runner as well in that battle.
Yeah.
And something that was mentioned the other day by Dave Filoni was that they are considering doing an episode of Rebels where they're in that battle. That would be so cool, right? How cool would that be?
That has got to be the end of Rebels, hasn't it? I mean, the show was set 5 years before New Hope. So my view is, it's like 2 years in, 3 years in now. Every year should be a new year moving forward. The last year, I mean, I don't want it to go on longer than 5 years. It'd be
no,
I'd have had enough of it by then. So let's just see that last. I want to see the last episode basically being our perspective of Rogue One's story, and hopefully they'll die or something. That'd be
brilliant. No, because so they mentioned General Syndulla, which is confirmed to be Hera. Right.
Yeah,
so
Dave confirmed that as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. So she's getting a promotion. Chopper, you see him in the scene where the private comes running out of Yavin base towards Mon Mothma and gets stopped by General Eric Draven, and Chopper goes past there. So there's that scene. So those two we know are still around.
Yeah.
I hope that.
Ezra's gone to the dark side.
That's what I'm hoping. They're dead by then, because now we're getting very, very close to New Hope. You know, and like you're going to see Obi-Wan, and the Jedi need to be gone. You know, those guys need to be out of there by then. And as for Sabine, personally, I kind of want her to die as well.
To be honest, I forgot about her. Yeah. She doesn't really do anything ever in the show, does she?
Zeb, I would like it if that is him. I
don't
know
in Saul's gang, that to me seems the most plausible thing.
Yeah.
And particularly if some of the others do die. Sorry, mate?
The Zeb thing is very plausible, especially with a bit of news that is coming in a couple of news items.
Yes, exactly.
So that makes sense. That would be quite cool. But yeah, Sabine is a bit of a, I don't know, she's one of those characters that, for me, they either have to do something really good with her, but she's that, look, she's cool because people like Mandalorians. She has funky hair, and she wears bright colours and paints with a spray can. She's the cool graffiti chick. And it's just like, whatever. And then there was that other episode where she was fighting the Mandalorian super commandos.
And nothing happened in that episode.
Well, look, she's like some teenager, right? That's what I kind of gather from it. And so you've got these guys who are trained commandos, right? What were they? Were they part of Death Watch? Were they those guys? Yeah. So they're trained. No, they were the Imperial hired Mandalorian super commandos, right? So they all wore with white.
I don't know. Rebels is so etched in my brain. It's such an amazing show.
So in that one, these guys are like trained soldiers, and she was beating the boss in hand-to-hand combat, and it's just a little bit like, come on, man, like some of these things have to be a bit more feasible. I don't buy that. If you took like some young teenager who, was okay, she'd done a bit of fighting, but she comes up against some SAS dude, like he's gonna win. That's it, and that's what should have happened there, or they should have found a slightly more clever way to get out of that. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, that's that. So I hope she dies. But we're going off topic because we were talking about. I think that was it. Really, we're just going to mention the Rebels.
Yeah. What's his face? The robot as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, Chopper. Chopper just goes past.
No, what's the other one? C1.
No, that's Chopper. C110P.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's Chopper's numerical name.
What? I was hoping it was the other robot, the sarcastic one.
No, that's AP5.
Oh.
Yeah, I would have liked to see him. I like him. But I'm guessing that he's dead then, and Chopper survived. Great.
Yay. Okay.
You know what? I would like. There's a part of me that would like to see Hera in live action. I think that'd be quite cool. I like Hera. I think she's probably my favourite of the Rebels crew. And yeah, I'd like to see her like piloting the Ghost or something. Just even if in one of the other movies it's just a brief cameo, that'd be a cool thing. But I don't think we get that.
The Rebels, the whole Rebels thing to me, I am quite intrigued by what's going to happen to them all, and I'd love, a really good storyline about what actually does happen to them. But I just can't see it actually being very fulfilling. I'm still really annoyed about what they've done with Ahsoka. and she, at the moment she's buried somewhere, and we don't know what's happened.
Well, yeah, we don't actually know, do we? Like, you just saw her sort of disappear into. I was going, some doors were closing or something,
yeah,
and that was it. I'm sure she'll turn up at some point. But I did read something the other day. I can't remember where I read it to reference it. It was probably on somewhere like Star Wars Newsnet,
most likely.
StarWarsNewsnet.net, yeah, or Making Star Wars. I think it was Star Wars Newsnet, and it was to do with Fulcrum and how.
Lamb chop.
Well, no, it was actually that Cassian Andor was Fulcrum at one point as well.
Oh, was he?
And he's Rebel Intelligence, so it kind of works that he supposedly has played that role. Yeah. So that's that. On to the next one.
Yeah. Vader's Castle.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Vader's Castle, that was cool, wasn't it?
It was cool. And, obviously that's something that's been hinted at since, Empire, the old Ralph McQuarrie designs.
It was supposed to be an Empire.
Yeah, exactly. And then it was supposedly going to be in Force Awakens. And now talking about, will it be in Episode 8? What's your thoughts on that, Jay?
So, yeah, Vader's Castle. So, in the expanded universe, it used to be on the place called Vijun, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was like an acid rain kind of place. So they moved it to Mustafar, and
which makes more sense.
Makes more sense, and supposedly from Vader's back to tank, there's meant to be he can look out over the point where he got cut down, which I think that's quite cool. Like fuels his rage.
Oh yeah. I've got to just do a shout out to the Weekly Planet when I was doing the hashtag Bath Vader. That cracked me up.
Yeah, they're good, those guys. I always watch their show. Hopefully they'll watch ours. But yeah, apparently it's meant to be by the Emperor's design that Vader lives in such an unforgiving environment. Like, the Emperor wants to make him live there so that he has to, like, face that all the time. Well, that's pretty cool. And yeah, I wonder if we will see it in Episode 8, because it would make sense, wouldn't it? They said that they were building worlds, so that's why they put it on Mustafar, and they wanted to have it as, there's things there that can be used in future movies. So it would make sense. Kylo Ren basically wants to be Darth Vader.
Well, where else would he go? That's the place he would go to.
He'd go and visit his castle, yeah. So that's cool. I like that they've done that. It really ties the movies together if they do bring it into Episode 8.
And makes it cheaper for them.
Makes it cheaper, yeah. They can use the same sets,
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I really liked the scenes in the castle. We didn't get to see a lot of it, but it was cool. It was cool to put it there.
Yeah.
I did read something else, that it was supposed to be built over... it's meant to be built over a cave. A Sith cave that was below it. So that'd be interesting to see. And then I'm like, okay, why is it a Sith cave? Like, was there already Sith stuff going on Mustafar then before Vader ended up going there? Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, there's a Sith cave there now. So
I mean, it's similar to Yavin, isn't it? That's a Sith temples there, isn't it?
Well, that was in the expanded universe. What was that? Was that Exar Kun or someone like that was there? That was in the expanded universe, so don't know if that's still the case. I think it should be. That'd make it more interesting. You can bring a lot of the bits from Legends into it, and they want to use bits from Legends, so it's a good opportunity to put those things there, but who knows where they're going with that. I mean, I don't know if, I haven't read all the Darth Vader comics yet. You have. Is anything like this mentioned in the comics? Do they bring any of this up? Do they show his castle there?
And you don't even see his castle, which was a bit annoying. Yeah.
Do they mention any old Sith Lords or anything like that?
No.
Oh. Great. I actually, I read an issue of it the other day. It's issue 8. I was not enjoying it.
You're so behind.
I was not enjoying it.
Really?
Yeah, because, right, it was just things like General Tag just like ordering Vader around like his little bitch, and all these other characters, and I was like, they're just not Star Warsy characters. The girl with like the goggles embedded in her face and all those, like just like giving him jip, and Vader's like, oh, please don't be mean to me. It's like, oh, come on, Vader would be like, shut up, bitch, and just like force choke her, you know. And Tag wouldn't be talking to him like that. It'd enforce his authority, and I hope that he does later on, because at that point I was like, I'm not liking this. And this is where I wish that the comics would be separate from the canon, because there's stuff in there and I'm like,
I mean, this is the danger, isn't it? All it takes is for a weak story. And it just, if it's canon, it affects it.
Yeah.
Okay, next item, we started to go down this road. Saw Gerrera coming to Rebels.
Yeah. So EW released a little featurette with Saw Gerrera coming into Rebels. So he's bald, so we know it's obviously a bit further back. He doesn't have the big Samuel Jackson Mr. Glass hair.
I didn't have the hair!
My hair has not grown. So,
you tried to kill my hair!
So this is what we were talking about before. This is a real opportunity. Well, not an opportunity, but this is where the possibility of Zeb being one of his guys could come into play. Because, to be honest, Zeb hasn't done a lot in Rebels, other than the episode where him and Callus hung out, and he kind of got Callus to see like the errors of his ways.
That really was like a Star Trek episode. That really reminded me of like the episodes where like Geordie crashes on the planet with the Romulan and things like that.
Well, I did actually like that episode, and I was sort of, that's where I started sort of root for Callus to maybe turn to the Rebels. Like, I was like, oh yeah, I hope he does.
Yeah, Saw coming into Rebels, I think it's a good thing, as I said, he's got a bald head, so it's a little bit further in the past. We're going to see probably a little bit, he's in the promo, obviously we didn't see a lot, but he did a couple of badass things, took out a couple of battle droids, so yeah, great, we're seeing those again. But he didn't seem like he was so mental yet.
No, not quite loony.
He's almost there, and he had his armour, but he didn't necessarily look like he had a spoon for a foot and a rolling pin for the other
he didn't
foot.
look as knackered, did he?
Yeah, so maybe we're going to get to see that, because obviously last time we saw him in Clone Wars, he wasn't like that at all. And, maybe this is going to be the story. I mean, and it's not that far away from Rogue One.
No, exactly. It's really close. Because that hair is going to take a while to grow. So
I would have thought maybe a couple of years. So he might be all right. But I think that he probably must be a little bit paranoid at this point, and he must have some kind of crew. But maybe we're going to see him take some damage in a battle when he loses his legs or something. I don't know. Didn't see a full body shot.
Yeah, because I didn't know how old was Jin. How old is Jin in Rogue One? Because obviously he leaves at 16. I didn't know if we were going to see anything, of him leaving or something like that.
Yeah, I've not really seen anything that specifies her age, but
maybe it says in my visual guide. I'll have a look in a minute.
But I would expect she's in her sort of early to mid 20s.
Yeah, probably too old. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Maybe we will get to see something about her. I don't know. I kind of expect to see people like General Radis and stuff like that turn up now, because those are the kind of characters that you might see in the Rebel Alliance on the sides and all that.
Jin is 21 standard years.
21, really?
Yeah, okay. Doesn't look it.
She looks a little bit older than 21.
Yeah. So, 5 years before 16.
Yeah.
That's when Sol dumped her, wasn't it?
Yeah, but we don't know how far before we are, because we're assuming that Rebels will end when we see that. Well, only because they said that they might put it from their perspective, which means it's 2 years before, approximately. Right?
What?
Where we are now in Rebels.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Where we are now. Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't think we'll see her. But I do think we'll see some of the other characters from Rebels, like supporting ones, people like General Radis. We might see Blue Squadron, those kind of guys, because they're ones that they can introduce now. They're side characters. They're not, we know what happens to them, but they're not going to introduce... I don't think they're going to introduce any of the main ones. At a push, you might see K2 and Cassian.
I mean, they're the only ones that would fit into it.
Yeah, you
particularly,
can do that,
particularly if they were Falcon. All the rest are characters that wouldn't cross our paths.
And you might in some way get something like, there's a mission where they touch base with Cassian, and then you see him get K2 or something like that. We don't know how long he's had him for. Again, it might be in your book, but we don't.
I
don't
finished
actually
it
have that info yet.
And Forrest Whitaker, is he voicing?
He is. Yeah, he's come back to voice it. And, I do think that Diego Luna would totally come back to voice Cassian Andor, because, if you saw him on any of the
he loved it, didn't he?
Oh, he was loving it. And he's such a likeable guy, watching those press, I was like, he's such a dude. And, I think Alan Tudyk would probably be up for voicing K2 again for some episodes. It just comes across that way. I wonder if you'll... No, I was going to say I wonder if you'll see Krennic at all, but we've had Catalyst, so I don't think he will. If you do, it might be a little cameo, just walks past, or he's in a room somewhere, or something like that.
Well, maybe him and Thrawn are at the same tailors.
Yeah. As Thrawn goes in to get his new uniform, he's just leaving. He's like, good director. Or at the time, Lieutenant Commander.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might get something like that. They've gone into... So, you're copying me. Like, I thought I was only on all white.
Yeah, exactly.
Except Yularen, or whatever his name is. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. It'd be interesting. But, yeah, I like the idea of Saw coming in. So it's a good opportunity to tell a bit more of his story and give you a bit more of a background to that character.
Definitely. All right, cool. Next news item on my list, Jay, is the unseen footage, or again, spoilers, of Red and Gold Leader. So there was a bit of talk, a bit more detail about that, and actually how, that was never seen before footage that they've managed to access.
Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, because I think some people, I saw a couple of things on YouTube where people had gone, they were fully CG'd. No, they weren't. They were, so Gareth Edwards had gone to Skywalker Ranch, when he's getting ready for the movie. One of the best things is that you get to go into the Skywalker Ranch archives and get to see everything, right?
Yeah.
Which is, partly where they got the design for the Death Trooper helmets. And, yeah, and, there's all this old footage that was never used in A New Hope, because, they filmed a ton of it. I mean, one of the things is that when A New Hope was originally cut together, it was bad, and they had to change the cut. So there's so much footage there. And he was looking at it, and he just sort of thought, maybe we could do something with this. Spoke to the guys at Industrial Light and Magic, and they did. They took them, they cut them out, and they put them into the cockpits of the ships flying over Scarif. And those clips are ones that have not been in A New Hope, so they are actual new scenes to us, which is pretty cool, right?
Yeah. I mean, it was a mixture of some stuff that was. I think some of the dialogue was stuff that was from New Hope.
Well, apparently Gold Leader starting my attack run was actually him saying it at a different time.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. And Gareth Edwards said that they contacted him. And his email address is something like Gold Leader Forever, and then a number. and it was like, can we use it? Can we use your face? And he was like, yeah, totally. So that's pretty cool. And the other thing that I only heard today was that apparently with spoiler Tarkin, because a lot of people are whinging, saying, I think it's disrespectful and all that. And Kevin Smith, I think it was Kevin Smith, said if he was getting nailed up the arse, that would be disrespectful. But they kind of kept it in line with the character. He's playing that character. Yeah. Apparently, Peter Cushing's family gave their blessing for them to use his likeness.
Well, it says at the end of the film on the credits. It says. Right? Yeah. So I mean, what's the problem?
Asked. They said to him, "Look, we're going to try this thing."
Well, they wouldn't have just not you. They.
I don't ask. Screw it.
Yeah.
Go to the cinema and their dead relative appears on screen. Yeah. Like, what the
hell? Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I thought that was all very cool stuff. I mean, it was the things they've done in that movie. Some people haven't thought it was groundbreaking, but it is. It's stuff that hasn't been done before. Yeah. And it'll just get better.
Yeah. Other things that Gareth Edwards been discussing on the old interwebs is the fact that Disney has been allowing this more, with this film has allowed more character deaths, things of the, slightly more graphic violence than what we've seen before. So, I mean, which is great. And I guess that means for us, what does that mean for the future of Star Wars films and stuff? Does that mean that there's going to be a precedence that we can actually expect that to be more prevalent, or is it just a one-off for that particular story because that's what fitted that story? Do you think it will make a difference to the other episodes as we move along?
I think that really it's what you just said there. It has to fit the story. If the story calls for it, then it makes sense. And this is the thing, which is credit to the Lucasfilm story group, that what he said in the I think it was a little bit of footage. He said that as they were making the movie, they had all these ideas of things happen, and they kept expecting to get a call to say, "Oh, we need to find a way to make these characters survive, or this or that happen." And he said those calls never came, and they were like, Kathleen Kennedy was like, "No, they need to die."
Yeah, because there wasn't a treat. I think the original treatment, because they didn't expect to be able to get away with it, they wrote with people surviving, and then I think as the story was being broken, and they got more closer to actually shooting, they decided no, actually it does. It suits the story. These people have got to go.
That, if the story fits, it's cool, and maybe with some of the more lighter-hearted stories, but Empire Strikes Back was most people's favourite movie, and I think they know that. And there might be more stuff coming down the line that's a bit more like that, and they'll be a bit more willing to let things happen. Like in this movie, there was a lot of high stakes because these characters are dying. You've never had that before, where you were actually worried about the characters. So this is actually something they could put in there, where if all of a sudden favourites do get killed off, you're like, what? Oh my god. There's so many TV shows that I've watched over the years where you get a favourite character and then just randomly they just get shot and they're dead, and you're like, oh my god, like they've killed someone, I can't believe it. Even if you take something like Game of Thrones, I'm not saying that they're going to go like ultra violent or anything, but they've proved that you can do it without being too graphic, and you can do it in quite a good way. So yeah, it just opens things up a little bit more. We might be able to see a few different things happen as time goes on.
Yeah, to me, it's like I think people are collating this to the way that like how Fox, with Deadpool was R-rated, and it was successful, and so now everyone's saying, oh yeah, all the new superhero films are going to be like this, and already Logan's slightly more adult focused than before, and I guess that's where people are worried that, people are just going to need you. But to be honest, Lucasfilm and Disney and that, they, I think they're that much sorted and they're not going to do that.
Look, Lucasfilm and Disney are very protective of their properties. They're not going to do stupid things like that. Star Wars doesn't need that. It's not the place for it.
They've never had yes men at Lucasfilm before, have they?
No, never. But look, something like Logan, for example, it's supposed to be the last one, right?
Yeah.
And Logan's the kind of character where it fits. Like, he has big claws coming out of his hands and he stabs people. So, one last
He's
time,
supposed to be violent.
Yeah, they're making it a little bit based on old man Logan, and, people want to see it, they're going to give him that. With Star Wars, that's not going to happen. You saw in this one, spoilers, Darth Vader. And, he was cutting people down. And he cut a dude in half, right?
We saw it, but we just saw the lightsaber go through him and then he dropped down. And it's that, I'm sure I saw it, but he didn't really see it. You kind of saw it, yeah? You're not going to get him cutting people's heads off because apparently they had stuff like that and they were like, it's too violent. You don't need to see that. Because from that movie, I got that Darth Vader is a vicious badass, and that's what you have to get across. As long as it fits story, the darkness is good, and I, as you know, I like that, so that worked for me.
Cool. All right. Well, I don't think we've got anything to worry about there. So my last story, this is a UK focused one. couple of years ago, we had a census, which happens, I think, every 4 or 5 years. Was it? Or was it longer than that, actually?
I don't know.
10 years, maybe. Where basically a poll that everyone in the country has to fill in. And one of the things that came out of it, when people were asking what their religion was, there was a bit of a movement to get people to say Jedi. And so, yeah, I think there's a couple of us that said that. And so Jedi got enough people on there that, it was recognised. But this week, it's actually come out from the UK Charity Commissioning. They've put a ruling out saying that Jediism is not a religion. What do you think of that?
Well, how can you tell people what they can have?
What is or isn't a religion?
Right?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, they said something to do with it's not a religion because it doesn't do anything to improve. I can't remember what the exact words were. It was like to improve the lives of people or something like that. Well, how can you say that? Because if someone practices something and it gives them some form of peace or happiness, or maybe the Church of Jediism has said, well, we're still going to do charity work. You're doing charity work. You're improving the lives of other people. Now, if people choose to follow it and actually, do some practice where, I don't know, maybe they meditate and it's whatever, right? And they take it that much more seriously, then that's their religion. They've decided to believe in that. And if you know what I mean? Like, you can't sort of say, your beliefs are stupid, because that's happened in history.
Yeah.
That's happened over the years. So,
my take on it is, I can understand them trying to say this isn't religion on a sort of legal, financial standpoint. They don't want to be given funding or charity or tax relief to, something that just,
it's all about money,
people
right?
rocking up. But on the hand of the more spiritual side, and as you said about people's choice, and people want to say it's religion, I don't think the UK's charity commission really can affect that. So,
look, at the end of the day, I'm still going to write Jedi on the next census.
Exactly. Yeah.
I wanted to write Sith, but I was like, it can only be 2, so I'm screwed. Maybe I'll write Sith anyway. Whatever. What are they going to do?
Well,
yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, why not? Might as well.
A Sith Lord.
Okay, right. Well, with that cough, we will move on to our next segment.
That cough signifies.
That cough means discussion time. We're going to have a little bit of discussion.
Discussion.
So really, we all know, again, spoilers, the best thing about Rogue One was Vader. My personal opinion is Vader should be in every film at the end of it.
Every film.
Killing
Not
people.
Just Star Wars, every
I don't care what the film is, it would be improved by Darth Vader being at the end, just wiping everyone out. We would talk about it on the Facebook group. I want to see him on Back to the Future, hop out of the time machine, stab Marty in the face, and go, "It's the kids!" and just kill him. And then Goonies, they're all running on the beach, meeting their parents. All of a sudden, Vader pops out the water, wipes them out with one big force blow.
What was he doing?
I want to see. Yeah, Jaws. He pops out of Jaws.
It comes out of his mouth.
Yeah. Look, any film you can think aliens. I want him to be there hiding on the ship. Ripley we keep thinking that she's going to survive, and then an alien keeps popping up, and in the end she chucks out the airlock.
Nah, in Alien, when the alien comes out of the dude's chest, he should come out of the alien's chest.
Yeah. And like a lightsaber come out of his mouth, like an alien mouth. Look, any film with Vader doing that stuff is cool. So let's see that happen. But generally, I guess for me, it's made me really want to. I don't want to see a Han Solo movie. I don't want to see any other standalone movies. I want to see a Vader movie. I want to see him set just after Revenge of the Sith. I want to see him track down the last few Jedi and wipe out a load of people. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, no, I hear that. There's a couple of things about a Vader movie, and that's, if there was going to be a Vader movie, that's really what you see. The Vader that we saw in Rogue One was
Darth
not
Vader.
Yeah, Darth Vader. That was not the Vader that we saw going, no! That wasn't him, right?
No.
But that was, he'd just turned into Vader, right?
Yeah.
And he thought that he'd killed Padme, and he'd always wanted to say no really loud. Now he had an excuse. But Vader always works best when he's just looming around in the background.
Yeah, he's got to be the baddie. He's
right?
not the focus. He's not like who you follow throughout the film. He's the monster in the film.
Yeah, he's the Michael Myers, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, see, one of the things I really liked in Rogue One was and I said this on our thing the other day, was that you got a little bit to see the inner workings of the Empire. You didn't see a lot of it, but you saw a little bit more of it, and you got to see a few of the officers all, like, you know, hanging around together, and you saw a bit more how stormtroopers worked. With Vader in a movie like that, it would be interesting to see him going after the Jedi and how he did. You would probably see a bit more of the Imperials, because, you know, he didn't just do it on his own. He had his guys with him. It would be quite cool to see something like that. And Hayden Christensen, the guy isn't a bad actor, right? He was directed badly. The two people in the prequels that were the best were Emperor Palpatine and Obi-Wan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Obi-Wan wasn't like the greatest we've ever seen in McGregor. What's her name? Natalie Portman is an excellent actress. You know, is she an Oscar winner, right? Or at least a nominee? Yeah. And I think she's a winner. But you know, she can do better than that. It's the direction, right? And like, if you're the director and you think something's not working, then you say, no, I want it a bit more like this, not faster, more intense. So that he didn't get much on that. At the same time, because I watched Revenge of the Sith yesterday, I rewatched it, and at the same time, everything was CG, right? So now you've got these guys like, react to something over there. You know, and then, don't worry if you're not looking in the right place. We can adjust that with the computer. And so a lot of it was very unnatural. And, you know, we saw Vader, like, just in bits in the Bacta tank, and maybe see him in his castle or something. I would be all right with Hayden Christensen coming back and playing those parts, and maybe just seeing him, like, maybe seeing his helmet off in the chamber, and he's hearing, like, voices tormenting him. Like, he's constantly tormented, and you just see him, like, playing with that a little bit. And for the rest of the time, you'd get the guy that played Vader in this, the dude from Guardians of the Galaxy, you know, when he's being Big Vader. I would be interested to see it. I don't know that they would ever do it because of comics and stuff like that. And then you've got the books where he's with Emperor Palpatine, was it Lords of the Sith? And it's a shame, because you could do something quite cool with it, but I just don't think we can see it. But I agree, I'd much rather see that story of the Jedi Purge over a young Han Solo film. I'm actually not that interested in the young Han Solo movie.
Me neither.
There's no part of it that makes me go, oh yeah, can't wait for that.
No.
But isn't Lawrence Kasdan writing that one? And he had said that the only film he wants to do is a young Han Solo movie. So I don't know what they're gonna pull out with that. Maybe, look, I'm gonna be there on opening night.
Yeah,
like, that's happening. But at the moment, I'm kind of like, young. Do I need that? Do I need to know about his past? I kind of liked him from where I found him, and that's it. Because that's where the characters that we were following, Luke, found him.
Met him. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I don't need to know anymore. I can hear stories of his past, and that's fine.
Yeah. Well, having watched the Star Wars Holiday Special today, I definitely don't want to know any more about Chewbacca's family.
But I thought that Daenerys was going to be playing his wife.
she looks a bit like him. I thought she was going to play Lumpy. Oh, God. Anyway, all right. Well, I think we're both in agreement. It would be a good thing. And like I say, I don't care if Hayden Christensen's in it, because to be fair, he wouldn't be in it that much, even if he was. So.
Yeah. I don't know that it would be a good thing. I'd like to see it, but I don't know that it'd be a good thing to do it, because as you say, he should be like just the monster, and then you're going to have to bring in some more Jedi that you follow. they're going to be
well, no,
characters that
I
you're
mean,
not going
it
to really
doesn't
give
have.
too
I
much
mean,
of a
it
damn
just
about. Maybe
needs
it
to
could be
be.
Kanan and Ezra.
I mean, again, maybe a bit like again, going back to Star Trek, but like the Lower Decks episode of Next Generation, when you see the Enterprise through the eyes of ensigns. There's like the 4 ensigns that you follow on that story, and again, if you follow in maybe someone in the Empire, as you were saying, so you can see a bit more of the workings of the Empire, you know, and like a couple of stormtroopers or whatever who were like on the same mission as Vader or something like that, or you know, or stationed on the same ship, and like they're on the hunt with Vader. So it's not so you're not telling Vader's story, but you're telling a story with Vader in it, and you know, there's a lot of different ways to do it. And yeah, I think that would work. And like I say, you said about Lords of Sith, the book, and also Vader Down, the comic. You know, they are prime examples of how it could work. You know, basically Vader wipes out, it takes on a massive army on himself in Vader Down, and in Lords of Sith he wipes out a village. You know, it's pretty wicked.
I would like to see Vader kicking some butt, and I don't know if they're going to do any other movies where we'll get to see that again. I have a feeling that this is the last time we'll see Vader in a movie. I don't think we're going to see him again.
So I think that's the opposite. I think it's made a renewal for Vader love.
Well, yeah, I guess there is the Vader was popular. We should put him in all our movies now. So maybe in young Han Solo we'll see him like.
I don't think Rogue One would have been the film it is without Vader's presence in it.
Oh no! I mean that ending. I mean, you're leaving the movie on a real high there, right?
Yeah.
The movie was good, and then that happened.
So I've got one thing I did think about. Next time we're going to talk about in reviews. I was just listening to the Audible book of Rogue One, and as I was listening to it, it struck me. Vader at the end is using the old Force, and he pulls everyone's weapons at him, doesn't he? Mm-hmm. Why doesn't he pull the data tape?
I thought that when I watched it. I was like, look, dude, forget the guns, keep blocking them, pull the data tape, see you later, guys, and then just walk off.
and since then, I just can't get past that. Why didn't he pull the data tape?
Well, maybe we could say something like he didn't realise that guy had it in his hand. I don't know. I don't know. It is a bit of a
That's
hole.
the plot hole.
And that's the thing, but baddies always do stuff like that. Maybe he was like, no, I'm going to let you hold on to that because I'm going to kill you all and then take it. I don't know. It's just, Maybe maybe we should tweet Pablo Hidalgo about that one.
So anyway,
I might.
Moving on. So that's that. On the discussion front and talking about theories, etc., we've actually had a few questions and comments from listeners and participants on our Facebook group. So I think maybe it'd be a good chance to just go through some of those.
Okay.
Cool. So the first one I've got is from Matt Scott, and this is an oldie but potentially a goodie. Rey is not Rey's real name. Would you like to go into a bit more depth on that, or what your thoughts on that?
So this has been around for a while, and it's because on her helmet in Arabic, I think it says Rey, but it's spelt like R-A-E-H or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I know when they're making a movie during production, they have different names for things, and Rey was when she was being cast, the name was Hera.
Yeah.
So, and people are like, oh, well, is she actually called Hera? Which could be possible. It would make sense in a way that her name's not Rey, because
I agree.
We saw what happened. She got dumped on this planet, Unkar Plutt had her, and her parents went off. But then at the same time, she was old enough to know what her name is.
Yeah.
So, from that point of view, why would she bother changing it unless it was...
unless she was told to change it.
Or while I'm here, I'm just going to go by the name Rey, and
or a nickname.
Yeah, it could be anything like that. So it's possible.
I think the only likely scenario is that she was told to change it.
Yeah, I don't know that they'll do this though, because it's one of
It's
those
too
things
close.
where she was a new main character. We've all got to know her through this movie, and while we didn't get like her surname or anything, we've got this character name who they've made popular, and they've sold the toys of Rey, and you know. So I don't know that they would then change her name. I think the next thing we might get is a surname, you know. Raby one or something like that.
Raby one sounds rabies one.
But yeah, I don't know that they'll change her name. But if so, yeah, maybe she was Kira, and that's. Or, I don't know. What do you think?
I wouldn't be against it, but I don't think. I think for all the practical reasons, filmmaking, it's not going to be. I mean, again, it really depends on if she was put there to be hidden or not.
Yeah.
If she was put there to be hidden, then it makes 100% sense to the story.
And the helmet, does sort of have a bit of a. Yeah. That's one of the things that makes you think, it could be possible. And I think you're right. If she was put there to be hidden, then it might make sense that they did that. But there's not many other reasons, are there?
No, and like I say, she was definitely old enough to know her name. So it's not like she didn't know what her name was, or
yeah, she wasn't like 2 or 1 or however old it is before you talk.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, okay. So thanks for that, Matt. Next question and comment for us to consider was from Daniel Hackett, and he wanted to know who our favourite character in Rogue One was.
I had 3 favourite characters. Mine were Darth Vader, of course.
Yeah, he's
does that count? Am I allowed to use Vader? K2SO I thought was absolutely brilliant, and Cassian Andor, I really liked him. I thought he was a cool character. I liked that he had different shades to him. Like, you know, you could see that he wasn't like a pure goody, but he had good intentions, just did some things because he believed for the greater good, you know. I thought those characters were good. I like K2's humour. I thought he was a good companion to have along with the gang, you know, and he proves to be a badass in the end as well.
Yeah, does. For me, I like Bodhi. I think he's a bit of an unsung hero in the film. He's the one that made, you know, he consciously made a massive change and really wanted to, you know, he's the one that sacrificed the most, I think, you know, in terms of changing, you know, leaving the Empire, going on that mission, having to put up with Saul and his mentalness, and then, you know, sticking through it and,
carrying on. He got the information to them, didn't he, about the whole message, yeah.
So to me, he's definitely like the unsung hero for the film. So I liked him a lot, and also he had a cool British accent, and the actor seemed pretty cool.
Have you seen The Night Of?
No.
You should watch it. He's in that. He's the main character. It's a really good show. It's like 6 episodes long, but really, really good.
What's it about?
He's a dude who gets done for murder and ends up in prison, but he's like just an average, a good guy.
Is it a British show?
No, it's HBO. It's an American show, but he's does he play? He plays an American guy in it, and yeah, you know, he's got a good background and everything, and then he gets into this situation which, if he hadn't done one thing, he wouldn't be in that situation, and it shows how getting put in prison can turn a guy into a bad guy. It's good. It's well worth watching. 6 episodes, so it's not too much.
I will check that out, Jay. Thank you for the recommendation. Tom Wells, he asked us ideas for the next standalone film. I think we both agreed that the next standalone film needs to be Vader.
Yeah, I mean, if I had, you know, I said a couple of weeks ago, one thing that I'd love to see is a Wild West style, you know, man with no name, Boba Fett and the Bounty Hunters type of film, where we find out that it's not that bratty little kid and it's someone else, and, you know, I'd like to see something like that. The other thing that has always interested me that I'd like to see, have you ever watched Imps, The Relentless?
Yes.
Right, so I know that's sort of done in a bit of a documentary way, but in that first episode, when you see all the stormtroopers, right there, I think they're on Coruscant or somewhere like that. I'd really like to see something like Band of Brothers or something with stormtroopers, like to get into that. I'd love to see that, and
because they did sort of in Rogue One humanise them a little bit. Like you could see that there were guys working, you see that tired one and all that. And I'd like to see something like that, where there's a squad of them that are sent somewhere for a mission. And I'm not saying I want one to be like, oh, I'm done with this Imperial crap and like turn into a rebel. But I just like to see these guys who believe that they're doing the right thing, or maybe there's a couple of are a little bit jaded and they get killed or something. But do you know what I mean? Like I'd like to see like what goes on. Just delve into their story a little bit. I think that'd be quite interesting.
You want it to be like Troops, that the cops parody one.
Yeah. Well, I do choose to believe that that's what happened to Owen and Beru.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's definitely what happened, and no one is telling me otherwise. Like, the comics, nah, that ain't canon. Troops is canon.
Yeah. I'm sure. What did I see? Wasn't there? I think I'm just remembering a theory that I think I might have read somewhere about the fact that why Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru are so burnt, why you can see their skeletons and that, because it's not normally how, when you get shot by a laser pistol, and was it Boba Fett who burnt them alive?
Did this not?
When did I read that?
Did this not get touched upon in the Star Wars comic, in the current Marvel one? Have they gone there with their home?
I don't think so. No.
Oh, okay. I thought that they had gone. I mean, as you know, I'm behind on all of them, and I just thought
I don't think they have. No, they haven't got to Aunt Beru dying. Have they?
Well, in that case, it definitely happened, like in Troops. If they've not touched on it, that means that Disney and Marvel have agreed that Troops is correct.
Okay, so, all right, fair enough. All right. Next one was again from Tom. He had asked about, will Rogue One affect the direction of a new Han Solo film? So. Again, similar to what we were saying earlier about will the grittiness or the reception of Rogue One, do you think that will influence the people that are making the Han Solo film? Maybe change the way they were going to do it a little bit, maybe?
Do you mean making it darker or something like that?
Yeah, or making it a bit more serious. I mean, I've got no idea how they're going to play Han Solo film anyway.
Well, I mean, look, the two characters that we know are definitely in it, Han Solo and Lando, right?
Yeah.
And those two characters aren't serious characters. Like, they're serious, like they can do what they need to do, but they're a bit smooth, or they're a bit like, he's got those ways about him. So I think that they're going to have a little bit of humour in there. And Rogue One had its little bits of humour in it, but it depends what the story is. Really, it depends what mission they're on or what they're doing. It will depend on how dark it is, because those characters are going to have their personalities.
Yeah.
They're not going to change their personalities. They're going to keep that part there. And they have that element of jokiness. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think... Look, it's a standalone. They said they want to do things different with each one. That means that you could get a comedy, or you could, you could go anywhere. As long as we don't get a musical. Because if we get a musical, that's going to really piss me off. But
well, they could do a rap battle. Maybe.
Oh no! What was that game? The dance-off game where you had Han Solo and
they
have a scene like that, right? Where Lando and Solo have a dance-off at a club.
That'd be a bit Guardians of the Galaxy, maybe.
No, I don't want that. But yeah, you know what? Guardians, I reckon it's going to be more of that kind of vibe to it.
Yeah, I love Guardians.
That would suit,
it's the best non-Star Wars film I've seen for ages.
That would suit Han Solo and Lando.
Yeah.
So I reckon they go down that road.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't think Rogue One's going to affect Han Solo film. I think the guys that are doing it, the Lego Movie guys and that, they've got a vision for it.
And exactly, and then they like the humour, so there's going to be a bit of that in there. Those are the things that make it sound interesting, the Han Solo film, because we don't actually know what the story's going to be. So being able to get it might be a bit more light-hearted one or whatever, but it could be fun. I'm still not that bothered about it. I don't really need a Han Solo movie, but it could be fun.
I'm just keeping an open mind. Let's see what they show us down the road. And
I'll still be there on opening night at midnight.
Yeah. Okay, and the last comment was from Daniel Hackett again. He just asked about the theory again about Obi-Wan being Rey's grandfather, which I think is really plausible. I think, I think that's probably, if they do want to connect, we talked about a couple of episodes ago about connecting Obi-Wan back in, and the fact that Ewan McGregor might be in the episodes coming up. To me, that would make sense then.
Yeah, I mean, we won't go into this one too much because we talked about it before, but I did actually post on the group today a Collider Crash Course video where they discuss the connection of Rey to Obi-Wan.
Okay.
And that's it's worth checking out. It's only like 5 minutes long or so, but it's pretty good. I like that theory. That's my favourite one. I would like her to be Obi-Wan's granddaughter. So, let's just see what happens there.
Okay.
We'll find out in about a year.
Well, look. I mean, I think I'm really interested to hear other people's questions or comments or things they want us to discuss. So, if they do have anything to ask us to send us, obviously, if you're in a Facebook group, just make a post or leave a comment. Or on Twitter, you can tweet us at Forced Convo or hashtag anything, any social media with Forced Convo, and we'll probably find it. Or drop us an email at forcedconvo@gmail.com. But we'd definitely like to hear more of your thoughts, questions, comments, theories, anything you'd like us to discuss. Send them in.
Awesome. So, I guess the next section is reviews, Colin. You've got a few things that you want to talk about here. I don't. So
okay.
I don't have anything that I'm going to review, so this is all on you.
Well, just got a couple of quick ones to start off with. First of all, I've just finished the Rogue One novelisation, the Audible version. And very good. I'll just find it. So I've got the details in front of me because I don't want to look unprofessional here. So it's written by Alexander Freed, and he also wrote the Star Wars Battlefront book that was recently out as well, which I haven't actually got to read yet. I've got it on my stack to read, but now I'll definitely get on with that because he had a very good, very well written, very faithful to the actual film. The audiobook was narrated by Jonathan Davis, again, very well read. Same person that narrated the Catalyst book. So again, you've got a very continuity between the books. I was a bit disappointed that James Larsenio didn't write the novelisation because I think that would have really made it flow.
James Luceno?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Alexander Freed did a good job. I guess just quickly, the positives, I think, as I said, very faithful, a few extra. It dwelled a little bit more on, give you a bit more detail on some of the elements. I think the main difference with this novelisation and, say, the novelisation of Force Awakens or the saga books, the reason I read the novelisations is just to get more of an insight to what's actually happening and maybe some things that you don't pick up on from the films. And I didn't really get that from this. I felt this was pretty much as is. This tells you the story of the film, sorry. There wasn't much more to it. There's no hidden meanings. There's no clues to the next film because obviously we know what the next film is. It's A New Hope. So I guess I wasn't quite as excited about listening to this book as I have been other novelisations. But it's all done very well. It's read very well. The only bits I didn't like, to give some of the background and to give some of the insight to the story, instead of actually telling the story as it is, they've got these bits inserted where it's like data transmissions and it's basically reading emails from Mon Mothma to whoever and things like that, which I just took me out of it. I just, took me away from the story, and it was all about giving you background, and it just didn't work. I wouldn't have done it that method.
Unneeded background that didn't really make any difference to the story.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting stuff, but I think if you've read Catalyst, you knew it all anyway, and I think there would have been a better way. I'd rather have got that in the dialogue of the actual story rather than adding these sort of sections in, because they just chucked them in, it seemed like, at the end of chapters and stuff like that.
Right.
And it just felt clunky. So that was the only negative. But I mean, all in all, good novelisation. I wouldn't rush out to buy it, but it fills a hole if you haven't got time to go and see the film again.
And you had it on Audible, right?
Audible,
so, is it still on sale on Audible?
Yeah, so I got it. I'd pre-ordered it, to be honest, and I used the credits because I've got the monthly credits. but actually it was on sale from I think it was £18 full price, and it was on for £10 or £11. So
okay.
So quite a good discount, and for all Audible members, there's a 40% sale till the 31st of December. So,
okay, so I might pick it up.
Yeah.
I might pick it up this week.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean it's okay. You know,
Cool.
Brilliant. The other quick review I've got is the first issue of Dr. Alpha, which is the latest
It's
title.
It's Afra, isn't it? It's Afra. There's no L.
Oh, was it? You know me and names, Jay. What was it? Oh yeah, Alpha. Why am I saying Alpha? Oh. Oh well, never mind. Anyway, Dr. Afro. Dr. Afro. She hasn't got an afro, but she has got a new comic. See what I did there? So basically, it's written by Kieran Gillen again, who obviously did the really successful Vader comic. The artist is Kevin Walker. You'll know him from 2000 AD and quite a few British comics. He's done loads of American stuff, but the British ones are the only interesting ones. Colorist is Antino Fabella. Letterer is VC's Joe Calamagna. And it's got loads of different covers. So, again, it's the first issue. To be honest, not much happens. It's more of the same, basically. You've got all the same characters that really made the background of the Darth Vader comics so interesting. So she's got BT and 000 with her. She's got the Wookiee bloke, Naughty Wookiee, whose name I can't remember.
Does the story follow on from the Vader one that's just finished?
Yeah, so obviously I won't spoil what happened in that, but something significant happened in that.
I'll get there eventually.
So this is a bit of a new start for her. And yeah, it's a very much, well, I won't even say it's set in the scene because I didn't really feel much happened. It was a good story. The art, Kevin Walker's art was a bit more cartoony than what we've seen on the previous, particularly from Darth Vader, where the artwork was so crisp.
What Star Wars comic did he last draw?
Kevin Walker. To be honest, I don't think I've seen him do a Star Wars one.
This is his first Star Wars. Okay.
Yeah, first one I've seen him do. And obviously because he's 2000 AD, like there's a couple of characters that look to me very 2000 AD in this.
Right.
But I mean he's done lots of other stuff, so I mean I don't want to degrade him to just saying he's only done 2000 AD. But there's the cliffhanger is quite interesting. She meets somebody who we don't expect to see at the end. No one that we've known before, but obviously interesting to her. So, anyway, it seems pretty good. All the characterizations of the familiar characters it doesn't seem that connected to Star Wars that we know, though. It could be anything. Right. It could be any sci-fi book.
And that's one of the things that sometimes from the few of these comics that I've actually got around to reading, I have a stack of them, but I have not read most of them. I often find that, like, I look at some of the characters and I'm like, it doesn't feel Star Wars-y to me. I don't know. Maybe I haven't read enough to get there, but there's some stuff in there. And well, we said earlier on, that's one of my concerns with the comics. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so, and then my last review, Slipman will do. Now, this I am really excited about. It's the Rogue One Ultimate Visual Guide.
I want this.
So, just a bit of background. This is a DK book. I love DK Star Wars books. I think they always do a brilliant job. And I've just got a couple of ones. I've got like a cross-section ones, and I've got the complete locations, which is really good. The Star Wars Visual Dictionary. I've got one for Force Awakens somewhere. Now, when I ordered this book, I didn't read it properly because after Force Awakens, I wanted to know more about that was the Force Awakens one.
Yep.
And what I love about this book and all the similar visual dictionaries is it just gives you all those characters that are in the background and all the locations. It pulls it all out. You get to really look at the costumes and look at the detail. Yeah. And you get to know the names of people, and it just gives you a little bit of background. and it also gives you little things that you might not know, hidden insights and stuff like that. So I was really keen to get the Rogue One book after getting that.
It looks a lot thicker.
Yeah, so I ordered it, and of course I didn't realise it was actually called something else. It's the Ultimate Visual Guide.
Ah, okay.
And so actually this book is a bargain. Again, from Amazon at the moment, $17.99 cover price. I got it for 10 something.
Oh, it's in my wish list. I might pick it up.
So basically, this actually combines the visual dictionary with the cross sections and some of the complete locations.
Oh wow, that's excellent.
And so basically, you've got the same. It's written by Pablo Hidalgo. Yeah, I know. I'm never going to get any of these names right, so I don't even know what I'm trying. But basically, I'll just try and show you some of the bits. It does more of a tell the story of the book, of the film as well.
Ah, okay.
So the first bit is great. It gives you all the background to all the planets and so again, covers a lot of the way that the complete locations book does as well. Gives you details of the new planet. So it's almost like a add-on, because like I say, I've only just bought the complete locations.
In that map there of the galaxy, does that just show the ones that are in Rogue One, or does it also include the ones that you see in Episode 7 and everything? Oh, okay,
all
so
the
it's
planets,
just added to it. Excellent.
All of it.
That's really cool.
So you can see, because one of my big questions was, how close is Scarif to Tatooine?
Well, Tatooine, yeah.
And literally, you can't see here, they are super close.
Right.
They're next to each other.
Excellent.
On the numbers. So cool stuff. So it gives you background stories of what's happening, but then it goes into, like, for instance, you've got like the typical, all the detail.
Oh yeah.
So for instance, Lyra Erso, her red sash is the red sash of the enlightened. So she's got a spiritual core. Even though she's never met a Jedi Knight, she studied their history and philosophies, even when the Galactic Empire frowned upon such research. It's not known if she ever made contact with the rumoured Church of the Force movement, reputed to be growing in the shadows of Coruscant, but she did at the time don the scarlet vestments of the sect native to Jeddah, one of the last holiest outposts of the Force knowledge in the galaxy. So she's got some link to Jeddah as well.
Mm.
And it's also got, for all the key characters, it's got a timeline that tells you roughly what they've done in their life. And it's got their ages and their height and things like that. So it's a bit of a who's who data file. So you've got that element to it. And then you've got the typical, like this is showing like the background of Erso's farm.
And you get to see a little bit of the
little bits of background, and they pull out some of the little features and they tell you what the robot's called. But then, like, for instance, I mean, look, it's got a whole page on all of Jin's toys.
Excellent. We recognise some of those as well.
Yeah, but also, it's also got all the cross-sections for the ships.
Oh, wow.
So it's like got everything that you want from all of those books in one.
That's so good.
Really good. Death Troopers.
Yeah.
And
is that a two-page spread on Death Troopers, or is it just the one?
Yeah, 2-page... 4 pages, because it also tells the story.
Oh, excellent.
I haven't finished it all. I've skimmed through it. You've got Darth Vader. You've got a section on the Empire. You've got all the rebels. You've got all the background people. You've got stormtroopers. You've got robots. You've got the rebellion guys. You've got a whole page on General Merrick. 2 pages on him.
Excellent.
So I'm really impressed with this book, and it's weighted. It's about 200 pages. I mean, look. You've got cross section of a new TIE fighter that you see in Rogue One.
That's
really good. Yeah. So can't recommend it enough.
I'm going to wait until after Christmas Day just in case.
Yeah.
I'm going to definitely get me a copy of that. That looks amazing.
Definitely. It's really good. Really good. So very pleased with that purchase.
Yeah, I will read that cover to cover multiple times.
Yeah, and like I say, just to informate, I'm actually starting to remember people's names.
Wow.
I know, shocker.
Cool, man. So, all right, well, that was a good review of the Ultimate Visual Guide.
Thank you. My last review is more of a spotlight review since the time of year we are in.
Whoa.
I thought it would be fitting to watch the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Is it ever fitting to watch the Star Wars Holiday Special?
Well, to be fair, I'd never seen it before.
Oh, okay.
And so I'd obviously heard lots of things about it. I'd heard that Princess Leia sings a song to the theme of the Star Wars tunes. I heard that we got to see
These have been blacked out my memory.
Family. I'd obviously heard that it's the first appearance of Boba Fett in a cartoon form. So I thought, well, it can't be that bad. One, it's long. It's about an hour and a half. And it truly is terrible. I mean, there's not much good about it. The Chewbacca brother is so ugly and scary. I mean, Itchy. I mean, why has he got a weird name? Why is there Itchy and Lumpy?
Why are they even in it? I don't think that any of it's canon.
No, I don't think it is either. And if you've seen recently the Star Wars show on StarWars.com,
that was excellent.
They did that sort of riff on it, and Pablo turns up at the beginning and makes sure everyone knows that that's not canon either. But to be fair, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. There are some. It's way too long. It's got variety acts in it.
It's got
the juggling thing at the beginning. I wanted to shoot myself. That's the bit where I had to turn it off. I started watching.
In it from Golden Girls.
Yeah, she sings a song at the end. I mean, it's a weird old story because the story is, in essence, is Chewie's got to get back home because it's Life Day, and Han and Chewie get delayed by some Star Destroyers, and then somehow they end up on planet, and Lumpy and Thingy are getting all upset, and you have a clumsy conversation with Luke, and then there's some other story around some bloke
in it, right?
He's got major makeup on, and he gets covered in smoke.
Yeah.
And there's some other guy and some Imperial bloke, and the Imperials go and look at Lumpy's house to find out, is there a collaborator there? I mean, there was a whole storyline I just didn't get, and I just couldn't be bothered to try and understand. I was trying to read the visual dictionary at the same time. And then...
it was background noise, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was just random. Way too many crazy things happening in it. The actual Boba Fett cartoon, basically...
That's the only bit I don't mind.
It's okay, but Luke is so thick in it. He's unbelievably stupid.
And whiny.
Yeah, I mean, basically, Boba convinces Luke that he's his friend.
Well, that's the first time we saw Boba Fett ever.
Yeah.
Right.
And, yeah, but he's really working for Darth Vader. Darth Vader's right-hand man, apparently. And, and there's some kind of thing. I'm not going to go into it anymore.
We've bored people enough.
It's a weird... I think it's something every Star Wars fan's got to see. Because I think
it'll make them appreciate the prequels.
Well, I think it's just interesting that they did it. I think that's the more... Well, it's a curiosity.
Yeah, look, the 70s was a different time. Disco was a big thing, and the Muppets
and Jefferson Starship were a big thing, apparently.
Yeah. So,
I mean, I still love the Muppets episode when the cast of Empire were on it. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
So they needed Nerk Nader. That's who they needed to come back and sort them out. But no, so it didn't make me feel Christmassy, and actually it hurt my eyes.
It probably powered your dark side.
Yeah, I mean, I would be interested to find out if Chewbacca actually has got any of that family in the canon now.
I don't think he does. I don't think he does. No. If anything, his family are closer to what we saw in Episode 3 on Kashyyyk.
Well, I must admit, because this is still the time of the Empire as well, so surely they're all slaves, aren't they? I don't know.
You would think. maybe these ones got away, or maybe slavery doesn't work with Christmas. I don't know.
No. Not very Christmassy theme, is it? I guess.
No. So it's one of those things. I watched it ages ago, and I never have this sort of feeling to put it on again. And when you said to me the other day on the group, I want you to watch Holiday Special because we'll talk about it as a review. I thought you were joking, so I was like, yeah, that's not happening, and I never watched it. But yeah, I don't really intend watching it again. The only bit I've watched on occasion has been the cartoon, where I've sort of been looking at something on YouTube and then I've seen it on the side. I'm like, I'll check that out, just because, Boba's got his blue and grey armour on, and Luke's wearing his yellow jacket, isn't he?
Yeah, from the end of New Hope. Yeah.
And the animation's kind of like
it's
that
terrible.
really bouncy, like cartoony stuff. So
there's nothing about it that's good.
And isn't Boba riding on some kind of dinosaur or something?
Yeah, because Luke shoots it first, and then it doesn't really work, and that's how Boba convinces him he's his friend. Yeah, even though he's like whipping the dinosaur.
And he's got some kind of metal trident or something, doesn't he, Boba Fett?
Yeah. Aquaman.
Yeah, so that's the only bit I would bother rewatching. All the rest of it, hell no.
Okay, well, right. So that is my homework for today. I've given you my book report, and I guess we're leaving this on a high note then.
Yeah. I think we've still managed to go over an hour today, but look, that was the show. That was the last show before Christmas. So we want to thank everyone for joining us and wish everyone a Merry Christmas and I hope
a Merry Sithmas.
A Merry Sithmas. I hope you have a great time. Please like the video and leave us a comment and subscribe to our channel. We would really, really appreciate that. And we'd like to chat with you guys. We like talking about Star Wars. If you're a Star Wars fan, you probably like to talk about Star Wars. So come and talk to us. We need some friends. You can drop us an email at forcedconvo@gmail.com. We're on Twitter at forcedconvo, and you can use the hashtag forcedconvo to get us on there. You can get me personally on Twitter at _J_tank. And Colin?
Yeah, you can get me at Captain Colin on Twitter. I guess the other good bit of news that I'd just like to talk about is the fact that we've just joined the Taylor network of podcasts.
Hey!
Yay! So basically, it's a network of podcasts that's looked after by a lovely gentleman called Darryl Taylor. Basically, there's lots of fantastic. If you're into comics, loads of good podcasts are on there.
Spit it out.
Yeah. Oh, it's choking me up. I'm so excited about it. Right. Vader, release him.
As you wish.
As I was saying before I almost died, it's basically a network full of great podcasts. No Apologies, Nerdist Bond, JK's Happy Hour, Go Trek Yourself, just to mention a few of them. And I'm really pleased that Daryl's let us put our podcast version of this YouTube channel onto that network as well. So basically, we're going to pop up on our feed, and these episodes are going to be on there as well as our one. So really pleased to be part of that family. I think that will lead to a lot of crossover, hopefully, and maybe we will start interacting with some of those guys. That would be good. And so just a quick shout out to the... you can find the Taylor Network on Twitter at Taylor Network. They've also got a Facebook page, and they've also got on Google Plus as well. But yeah, definitely check out and you can find them on iTunes, same as just look for Taylor Network. But really good stuff, so definitely check them out. And we're really pleased to be part of that gang.
Yeah, awesome. And thank you to Darryl and all the guys over there. You can also find us on iTunes and on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
And that'll do it for us. So have a great Christmas, Colin. And
have a great Christmas, Jay.
And have a great Christmas to all of you guys, and we'll see you in a week's time. So...
And don't forget, rebellions are built on hope.
Yes, I'm one with the Force, and the Force is with me.
Yeah.
So, may the Force of others be with you.
Always.